Throughout the 2010s, there were few pitchers as dominant as Madison Bumgarner. He had a cumulative 3.14 ERA over the 10 years, 3 top 6 Cy Young finishes, and 3 World Series rings. But ever since he signed with the Diamondbacks, everything has gone downhill for him, resulting in getting DFA'd earlier this year. So while we watch the tail end of his incredible career, I want to highlight the most impressive part of his game. That being his insane numbers in the Fall Classic, because he may be the best pitcher in World Series history. The first of 3 rings he won with the Giants came in the 2010 season against the mighty Texas Rangers, a team that led the American League in batting average thanks in part to MVP Josh Hamilton, who hit 32 homers, knocked in 100 RBIs, and hit .359 with an almost 1,000 OPS. And others such as Nelson Cruz and Vladimir Guerrero Sr. also enjoyed productive seasons to help fill out the rest of the lineup that was sure to give Mad Bum a run for his money if he wasn't on his game. Up 2-1 in the series at home, Bumgarner had the opportunity to put the Giants on the brink of the championship when he took the mound for Game 4 at just 21 years old, becoming the 7th youngest pitcher ever to start in the Fall Classic. And in the very first plate appearance, you could see the inexperience as he walked Elvis Andrus on 4 pitches. An uninspiring start, but following a force out at second base to record the first out of his evening, he settled down and even managed to force the soon-to-be MVP into a ground ball double play, ending the inning with 3 up and 3 down, meaning in the bottom of the second, Vladimir Guerrero Sr. was due up. 2010 marked the penultimate season of his Hall of Fame career and his first World Series appearance after he'd been knocked out of the divisional series by the Red Sox like a million times. This was also one of the coolest battles in the whole series. As mentioned, Mad Bum was one of the youngest starters in World Series history, while Vlad on the other hand was the oldest batter out of the 2 teams, totaling 14 years of age over the young pitcher. Senior also had a knack for hitting against lefties. In 2010, his splits against them included plus 51 in terms of batting average and over 100 in OPS. This, coupled with the age gap, tells you he had the advantage in this meeting. But regardless, Bumgarner held his ground, and on the 7th pitch of a grueling at-bat that had multiple foul balls, he got him to strike out looking, sending him back to the dugout in disbelief. After researching and watching the clips of this game, this at-bat truly feels to me like a shift in momentum, because while the Rangers were at home, in front of a crowd that had never seen a World Series title in Arlington, it seemed like Bumgarner would be in for a tough night. That's why winning a 7-pitch at-bat against a future Hall of Famer to start the game 4 up and 4 down was so crucial and allowed him to settle in. In fact, by the time the bottom of the 6th inning rolled along, he'd only allowed 3 more base runners, one of which was retired via a caught stealing, and the other by a ground ball double play. But the 7th is when he found his first bit of trouble during the game. This inning started smoothly with a strikeout of Michael Young, but with Josh Hamilton reaching on an error by the 3rd baseman, they had something to build upon, where once again Vladimir Guerrero Sr. stepped up to the plate, and this time he was not going to be caught looking for strike 3. Instead, he would swing and miss, leaving one of the few chances the Rangers had to bat with a runner on to Nelson Cruz, who on the 3rd pitch of the at-bat laced a single into center field, giving the Rangers their first time with 2 men on. And down 3 runs, this next at-bat was crucial. A hit will keep their first rally of the game going, or an out would end the inning, killing their first real chance of scoring a run. The man under the task was Ian Kinsler. The all-star second baseman had enjoyed a nice season with the club with a solid .286 average. But when we break it down, he's just like Vlad Sr. with a batting average that jumps from a mere .258 against righties all the way to .376 versus lefties, giving us quite the battle. On the first pitch, Bumgarner was able to jump ahead 0-1. This is significant because once Kinsler starts an at-bat 0-1, his slash line takes a massive hit, and on the very next pitch, Kinsler lines a ball into left field, but Cody Ross was there to record the out, leaving 2 stranded and the last chance of the game for the Rangers because in the 8th inning, Bumgarner was able to go 1-2-3, setting up the Beard perfectly for the 9th inning. At the end of the night, his line was an impressive 8 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, no earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and of course, the victory decision. This was his only appearance during this series as the Giants went on to win it all in the next game. It wasn't until 2012 when he got his next appearance, this time in Game 2 against the Detroit Tigers. Like the Rangers fans, the Tigers fans had also grown tired of not seeing a World Series title, and they thought this could finally be their year. But as we all know, that did not happen, but you can't blame them for thinking that. After all, they had one of the game's best hitters in Miguel Cabrera, who had just won the first offensive Triple Crown since 1967, and had other notable players such as Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer who anchored the rotation. As mentioned, Bumgarner took the hill in Game 2 with the Giants up 1-0 in the series, and with the thought of going 2 up, he did not hold back, striking out the first 2 batters and getting the third to ground out to go 1-2-3 with only 13 pitches thrown. But despite such a cool and collected start to the game, he ran into some self-inflicted trouble as he hit Prince Fielder on the 3rd pitch of their plate appearance. And the very next batter, Delmon Young, shot a ground ball hugging the line past the 3rd baseman, spelling trouble for Bumgarner and the Giants. But following a nice relay, they were able to nab the oh-so-fast Prince Fielder, who was trying to go first to home. Why, I don't know. If you check and see, you can spot the 3rd base coach sending him home. To me, that makes no sense as he's a slow runner, it was going to be close, and with nobody out, why not let your next batter hit with 2 runners on in scoring position and no one out? Yeah, safe to say Bumgarner was bailed out there, but regardless, he still needed to get out of the inning, and Young was still in scoring position. The next batter, Johnny Peralta, had a down year relative to his 2011 performance, but he was hot. During the ALCS, he hit 2 homers with 3 RBIs and an over 1100 OPS in their series win over the Yankees. But on the first pitch of the at-bat, Bumgarner fooled him and popped him up to the first baseman. A terrible decision to swing by Peralta as the Tigers made yet another mental mistake, now leaving Avisail Garcia, a first-year player who had only 23 regular season games under his belt for the Tigers, but he gave Bumgarner a valiant effort. However, on the 5th pitch of the at-bat, he swung and missed for out number 3, leaving the Tigers with 0 runs scored in a wasted inning. Because after this strikeout, Bumgarner settled in just like in his first World Series appearance. In fact, from the 3rd to 6th innings, he allowed just 2 base runners, but one of them was later taken off the base paths as he was caught stealing second base. But the 7th inning brought up a little more trouble, because with the big 3 of Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, and Delmon Young due up, they could be the ones to finally break the deadlock and bring the Tigers level in the series. And as Miguel Cabrera stepped up to the plate, I'm sure that's exactly what both teams' fans were thinking as well. That's why it was so crucial to get the first out in the inning, but Miggy wasn't going to let it be so easy as he took many borderline pitches for balls, and on the 9th pitch of the at-bat, he was able to take his free walk to first base. Next up, Prince Fielder, a man who held more than enough power to put 2 on the board, but started the at-bat with strike 1. Putting Bumgarner in the driver's seat, and on the very next pitch he had a ground ball to him, and he was able to quickly toss the ball to second and then on to first to get the slow running Fielder to retire them both. Not completely ending the threat as the Tigers still had 1 out to play with, but with all the confidence in the world after the last at-bat, and knowing it was his final batter of the game, Bumgarner attacked Young and retired him via a ground ball to the shortstop. The Giants went on to break the deadlock in the next half inning as they went on to win the game 2-0. And if it weren't for Bumgarner's ability to keep the Tigers' most dangerous hitters at bay, then the outcome of the game could have very well turned out differently. Now, Bumgarner's lifetime stats in the World Series increased to 15 total innings with 5 hits, still no runs allowed, 4 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Not bad numbers at all, which is why it's crazy to believe that he continued this ridiculous stretch during the Giants' 2014 run. This series against the Kansas City Royals, he took the ball 3 times. The first one being his start in Game 1. Not much happened in the first 2 innings with just 2 base runners, one of which retired via a timely ground ball. It wasn't until the 3rd inning when he finally ran into some trouble. Omar Infante led off the inning and hit a ground ball to the shortstop, who wasn't able to field it cleanly and allowed him to reach. Then the next batter, Mike Moustakas, who hit 2 homers in both the divisional and championship series, was ready to do damage. And on the 6th pitch of a hard-fought battle, he sent it into right field, moving Infante to 3rd and himself to 2nd, giving the Royals a golden opportunity to score with 2 runners in scoring position and nobody out. A situation in which the Royals hit a ridiculous 600 with 19 RBIs in 21 plate appearances during the regular season. But Mad Bum wasn't having any of it and struck out Alcides Escobar on 4 pitches. But not to worry for the Royals, right? After all, a fly ball could still score a run. But Nori Aoki struck out on 3 pitches, leaving it all up to Eric Hosmer to bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs following a Lorenzo Cain walk. A crucial at-bat. Hosmer gets a hit and 2-run score, bringing the Royals within a run, or get him out, and the Giants maintain their 3-run lead heading into the top of the 4th. Somehow, someway, Mad Bum was able to narrowly escape this inning with 2 key timely strikeouts. This went on to be the only threatening inning the Royals produced. However, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning, Salvador Perez was able to take him deep for the first earned run of his World Series career, ending the streak at 21 2/3 innings straight of no runs allowed. A pretty ridiculous feat. But we must move on, because just 5 days later, with the series tied at 2 apiece, he was quickly turned around to start Game 5. A pivotal moment in the series. Win and you're 1 win away from the championship, lose and you're on the brink of elimination. In front of over 43,000 in attendance at the Oracle Park, he put on a show, dazzling throughout each and every inning. In fact, he only allowed 1 batter to even get into scoring position, and that was by a double from Omar Infante, but Bumgarner shut down the next 2 batters swinging to end the inning. It was an incredible showing from him and put the Giants just 1 win away from their 3rd World Series championship in 3 years. But following a Game 6 loss, their celebrations had to be put on hold, and the club put Tim Hudson in control of their destiny by giving him the final start. But the Royals had his number early, and after only an inning and 2/3, he was pulled, leaving the Giants bullpen 8 1/3 innings they now needed to fill. Not something you want to do in a winner-take-all in the World Series, but they managed. Jeremy Affeldt came in immediately for Hudson with 2 runners on and 2 outs, but was able to retire the next batter and cruise through the 3rd and 4th innings, a time in which Bumgarner was getting ready to come in to close out the game on 3 days rest. That is just insane. He pitched a complete game shutout 3 days prior and had never in his career pitched 5 innings on that little of rest. But he was tasked with doing so in one of the biggest games in Giants history, and he took the ball with the same crazed look he always has in his eyes and was ready to go regardless if he was tired, sore, or lacked power in his arm. With a 3-2 lead entering the 5th, this was it. It was purely in his hands, and he ran into trouble immediately as the Royals played their classic brand of baseball, this being a leadoff single followed by a sac bunt to move him into scoring position. The Royals did this so well all season long and was a big reason as to why they won the championship the year after, because now all they needed was a single and had 2 tries to do so. But the first batter, Nori Aoki, lined out, leaving Lorenzo Cain the duties to tie it up. This at-bat in question yielded a 1.79 leverage index, which is a tool that measures the importance of a particular event by quantifying the extent to which win probability could change on said event, with 1 representing a neutral situation. This was much higher than 1, meaning the at-bat would heavily determine how the rest of the game would go, and on the 5th pitch of the at-bat,
strikes out, and Bumgarner adds another scoreless inning.
That's right, he struck him out, shutting down the Royals' threat and maintaining the Giants' slim 1-run lead, which stayed through the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings, as Bumgarner was able to go 1-2-3 in each. But the Royals were never going to go down without a fight, and following a bloop single and mistakes by both the center and left fielders, Alex Gordon was able to get to 3rd base with 2 outs. I know I have said this was it before, but this was truly it. With Salvador Perez up, all he needed to do was get him out. And as you could expect, the leverage index of this at-bat was sky high. Remember the last time I brought it up, it was 1.79 and that was high? This time it was 5.85. I personally have not seen many higher leverage moments in my time of looking at this stat, and it just shows how big of a moment this truly was.
Popped up. Send the ball in foul territory. Giants win.
He had done it. Following a complete game shutout on 3 days of rest, he shut down the Royals for a 5-inning save, helping lead the Giants to win their 3rd championship in only 5 years. In total, during the 2014 World Series, he tossed 21 innings across 2 starts and 1 game in relief, just 9 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 17 strikeouts, pushing his all-time stats in the World Series to 36 innings pitched, 4 starts, 4 wins, 1 save, a .25 ERA, .528 WHIP, and 31 strikeouts. In comparison, that is the lowest ERA among any pitcher with at least 20 innings pitched in this contest, and if you see, there are so many guys on here from the early 1900s. I mean, Babe Ruth, funny enough, is even on this list. The only other guy to pitch in the 21st century is Mariano Rivera, the best relief pitcher of all time. That's great company to be alongside. So while Mad Bum is not going to be heavily considered for the Hall of Fame, he's undoubtedly a Giants legend and will end his career as the best pitcher in World Series history. That wraps it up for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it helps me out a bunch to continue making these videos for you. Plus, if you made it all the way to the end, I'm sure you'll love all of my future content. Alright, thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.